Frank Giavella with The Contending. Beautiful Evening, Beautiful Day was Croatia's Oscar submission last year. The film is a daring and powerful depiction of gay love and persecution. I'm so pleased to have the writer-director Ivona Juka here today to discuss her extraordinary work. Welcome, Ivona.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me, and hello to your audience as well. I'm so honored to have an interview with you.
First off, I want to congratulate you on making this brave, exquisite queer-themed film.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's really brave. I just realized that after we went out with film during the work on the film, and when I was writing, especially, I didn't realize how brave it is. Actually, I'm not like thinking to myself or something like that. I honestly wasn't uh, aware how this world is still not ready for such stories. I
Very much
mean,
so. Very much so. We
yeah.
we we live in a bit of a bubble world, those of us who live either in big cities or near big cities, and we don't realize what is going on right outside.
Right, you're completely right. I couldn't agree more.
Um, so you just played Frameline in San Francisco and you won the audience award. What was the experience like?
Oh gosh, I'm so happy that the first premiere, the first festival was Frameline because I was showing my film to probably the most progressive audience in the world. So smart audience, many of them, professors at universities, and they were so amazing. The Q&A was pretty long. After the Q&A, they approached me, in the hall of the theater, and we discussed a lot about the film, and they loved it. And it was overwhelming experience, really.
It's so wonderful to hear. And I want to talk about the film in length, but before we do that, I wanted to get some of the controversial stuff out of the way first. Tell me about getting the film made and if you had any pushback.
Yes. Let me just tell you about the story. Actually, it's a very personal story. I grew up in a very progressive family. I was lucky that, but actually, story is inspired by my one family member who was gay and he was never able to came out. He was prosecuted, he was tortured because of his identity, and he was, well accepted in our family and protected and loved in our family. But unfortunately, he had so much troubles because his authenticity. So I wanted to make. He was my inspiration for this story, but at the same time, I realized that today, like, we are going retrograde with our human rights, with any kind of rights. And I wanted at the same time to make a story about, acceptance, about uh, freedom, as you described, freedom to be yourself, and at the same time, freedom of creativity, to express yourself, to be who you are in your job, in your everyday life. So that was main inspiration for this story. And as I'm living in a bubble and I grew up in LGBTQ community, I grew up, in so progressive people that I'm aware now when I grow up, but for me was normal, a normal childhood. I wanted during the filming, they canceled us funding from local film funds when they found out what's the theme of the film. So we were jeopardized to stop the shooting twice during the shooting. And then we were very, very much disappointed that we didn't got support for one huge film fund, which is barking, like how they are progressive, but actually we heard that they also had struggle with the theme as well.
Hmm.
I won't mention the name of that film fund because it's pointless. I'm just saying how it's happening also on a bigger level or on a higher level as well. And we had like people were canceling our location for film shooting as well, what is very stressful because I spend a lot of time to find those locations, and those locations were very rare, especially because the period is a period of period film, so
Yeah.
it wasn't easy to find any kind of location. And we experienced, hate by some people, trashing, calling me the worst names in the world. And unfortunately, that didn't stop. When we were elected to be Oscar contender of Croatia, what was really beautiful because 12 representatives from different associations in Croatia are choosing a candidate, and all of them were unified in their decision for our movie. They told me it was the first time actually in history that they had just like 5 minutes decision. All of them were for our film, because usually, they discuss or maybe they argue or they are, someone is for that film, someone for that film. So when we heard that, we thought, oh gosh, finally, all our struggles are over. But unfortunately, that was not true. They cut us budget for promoting the film more than to half. So unfortunately, someone in our government, some politician, really decided to prevent us to promote our film properly, unfortunately. So usually, in Croatia, each film got about, 150,000 euro at least, and we got 60. So with that amount of money, it was clear message by them, we don't want you to be our representative, even though, artists and film industry selected us.
Yeah.
uh, they didn't want to support us. So during the Oscar campaign, we didn't have money even for publicists. I mean, it's a really, really a very expensive run for for Oscar. So with that amount of money, we did one guerrilla campaign, and we were four of us were sleeping in a small apartment,
Mhm.
in a or even on the floor, but we had such a great time, and we managed, to invite some people, influence people. For example, Michael Mickler, he was three-time Oscar winner. He told us that in his opinion is the best, if not the best, one of the best in a foreign language competition. So those people were spreading word of mouth, to other people. But unfortunately, that was not enough. We couldn't reach the wider audience of the voters. and so we didn't make it to shortlist. I'm saying like we should be, but
Oh,
of
well,
course it's
yes,
my
no,
film.
you should have
Uh,
been. You should have been.
Thank you so much. And actually, that's the feedback that we got, from, I mean, great expertise from our industry and people who actually won Oscars. They said us the same. And after that, I was so disappointed when I came back to Croatia, of course, because I just felt like the film didn't got attention which film deserves. And unfortunately, in Croatia, we also experienced backlashing by some critics for whom my sister, she's a producer, she believes that they are paid to trash us. I'm expecting, honestly, I'm expecting even more of that in the future. But at the same time, this award on Frameline and from amazing reception of San Francisco audience is also protecting us somehow, and giving us recognition in the world. So I really hope that film will be recognized abroad and somehow it will help us also for distribution in our country as well and protecting the whole theme. Brilliant authors who were working on this film.
I've written extensively about the international feature Oscar entries and, spoken to many filmmakers. And unfortunately, financing is always, an issue. It's really, really hard for smaller films to get recognized. Once in a while, they'll get through like Waves did, that actually made the short list. But queer theme films, even worse. Great Freedom didn't make it. 3 Kilometers didn't make it. It's really, really hard. But what struck me about this film is I and a couple of colleagues of mine could not get access to it. It was so frustrating.
Uh,
And I didn't
let me
understand.
let me just address that.
Yes.
Since we experienced such a hate, such a backlash from unfortunately many evil people, production became overprotecting over the film. So, if we didn't have like production, if production of the film for film didn't have, much information about someone, they were protecting film maybe even, too much. Especially, because we are having such bold love scenes, sex scenes, and we also want to protect our actors and the film to be on the Pornhub or to get
Uh,
because we are pretty aware that pirates will fall in love with our film,
yeah.
so we have to really be very careful to whom we should send the link. And during that Oscar campaign, when you approached to my production, they were crazy enough of trying to fundraise money for Oscar Run. Then we experienced so many attacks from so many sides that we couldn't believe. And in that, madness, they probably, didn't send to you link or maybe to someone who could also help us.
Yeah.
You never know. But that was just, unfortunate happening regarding everything what was happening. So and always is very difficult when you have such a bold sex scenes or something like that. You should be even more careful to whom you should send the link,
Oh,
and that was the
absolutely.
reason.
Yeah, and the irony was I had no idea what the film's themes were. That's how little information was,
Yeah.
out there. But I want to discuss this, what I consider a borderline homophobic, reckless review by Variety. The ridiculous notion that this critic put forth that you somehow didn't differentiate between the sex scenes and the rape scenes. The
Thank
inaccurate
you so much. Sorry for interrupting you. Thank you so much for bringing that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I want to call it out because the inaccuracy was pretty clear to me, in my opinion, but I want you to address it because it wasn't the only review that I felt didn't get the film, and they seemed to be by heterosexual male critics. I could be wrong in that, but I don't think they grasped the beauty juxtaposed with the brutality.
Yes, yes, I agree 100% with you. And my approach from the even writing the script was completely different. I wanted to make making love between men beautiful, bold, and free. If I'm making a film against censorship, I shouldn't censorship, that act. So I also wanted to portray homosexuality, them like Greek gods, with beautiful lightning, with celebrating male bodies, and to show what is, in my opinion, every making love is beautiful, So portray that freely, boldly, and beautiful. At the same time, in a sex scene, you won't see any kind of genitals. You won't see, even in that approach, you won't see in a rape scene, you will see as little nakedness just to figure out what's going on. So it wasn't, you know, it wasn't oh gosh, I'm missing the words. I'm sorry. I'm better in the afternoon than in the morning with English. It's not a stress on a human body. It's a stress of on a emotional humiliation,
Yeah.
which is really brutal, which is really violent, as it is, raping the scene. Rape is always like that. So it is completely different, even in a visual aspect, that making love is so explicit, but beautifully explicit. And this rape is almost hidden in a physical act, but is more stress on a emotional torture and humiliation of human being. So even visually, it's so different. Besides that, rape scene was really demanding for shooting for all of us,
Mm.
for my actors and me. People are asking us a lot of question about love scenes, which were so easy for us. I mean, first of all of us became friends. We rehearsed a lot, and we rehearsed that to the point like it was the dance for us, like choreography. So execution of that on the film set was pretty easy, and it was very, something what is um, joyful, something what is nice. But the rape scene, we spent a lot of time, all of us, talking with victims, talking with a psychiatrist as well, to prepare ourselves for that scene.
Yeah.
And execution of that scene was so demanding for all of us. For them, of course, because of emotional acting, what they had to bring in front of the camera. And for me, was really tough because I had to watch them going through that. So that was something what is I think in a film completely different, and even in the making was completely different.
Mm.
And thank you for bringing that, because I was really offended by that in Variety when I read that. I thought, oh gosh, I don't have experience with none person who watched our film that said that. On the contrary, people usually said quite opposite, how they felt that those two things are completely different. So
Absolutely.
as you said, I think that unfortunately that can say someone who found gay sex disturbing somehow. And
Yes.
for that person, as it was, the gay sex was disturbing, probably like rape scene. What is pity, in my opinion?
Absolutely. And as a gay man, the gay sex scenes, you nailed them. They were very sensual. Some were more intense, some were a little animal, but they were authentic and they were uncompromising. And the rape scenes made me want to throw up. Yeah, that's the
Exactly,
difference.
exactly. And what was really valuable for me, is that my majority of my cast is queer. So, of course, even though I had a gay member in my family, I didn't know much about gay sex, So, as you don't know about sex of your family members, it's the same. So, I could watch porns, but porns are not reality, ever, never. So, it really helped me because I was quite open to them, even though I wrote those scenes in a script because I wanted for all actors who are coming to audition to know exactly what will look like, you know. I didn't wrote like they are making love. I wrote in the details, just to anyone who's reading to know would you come to audition or not, because it was very important for me to show those scenes very openly. But it helped me so much because during the process of the rehearsal, I really had the people who could tell me, "Oh, okay, this is right, but this could be maybe like this." So I think they're authentic because I worked with authentic people. So that's the most important thing for me.
It is the most important thing, and the attacks were absolutely ridiculous. Well, let's talk a little bit about the real barren island, because I know you did a lot of research. And
Mhm.
there was an island in Italy, because I did my own research, during Mussolini's time, that very harshly treated, gay men. And it was very interesting for me to hear that the same thing happened in the then Yugoslavia.
Actually, uh, uh, we are uh, this part of history in Yugoslavia. uh, my Even my people, leftist and progressive people would like to erase.
Mm.
It's a part of the history which nobody wants to face with. You know, Nazi were brutal to homosexual, but people, communists were also until 70s, 80s. I think during the 80s, finally it was not criminal act anymore.
Mm.
So and especially after the war, during the 50s, unfortunately, all around the world, all nations were pretty brutal to LGBTQ community. You know, uh, you know, we all saw in England what happened. Oh gosh, I cannot recall the title. Enigma Code.
Oh,
Uh,
the imitation game.
Yeah, imitation game.
Yeah.
It's the almost the same period, the time as my movie. So it was happening, unfortunately, all around the world. And when I did research, I found even worse things that are in my movie. For example, some things I didn't want to even put in the movie what was happening on Barren Island. I thought, oh, this is too much. This is disgusting. I don't need that level of perverted violence, for it was so disgusting to me that I said, no, I won't put them in that situation. For example, when they're standing in the line and they were torturing them to be naked, completely naked on a very harsh sun, without water, standing in the line, and they had to put their head on a full barrel of the shit, and and to like be in that position whole day, and the other guy after him should put his nose in the anus of the person before him. So it was the line like that, and like forcing them to think about their shit and about who they like their shit at the same time, and many, many other brutal and awful things they were doing to completely innocent people,
Yeah.
I was shocked when I discovered such a things, even me, even I knew that my family member had problems, but fortunately he didn't went through such a torture. So he survived. He was later, born, so he didn't went through that that kind of torturing. And but At the same time, this film is talking about, in today's very, very divided world, it's talking about when you get to know someone and maybe you get to love someone, you cannot hate that person anymore. So the
Yeah.
role of Emir, I think, is very important for all maybe conservative people or people on a different side to see that, because his arc is in the movie is exactly that,
Yeah.
and uh, uh, that was something that I wanted to say with this film as well.
Yeah, he absolutely represents somebody who moves from a point of not necessarily hatred, but he's against to a point of acceptance and understanding. It's so fascinating. It's one of the hopeful through lines through the film.
Yes, yes, definitely. I agree with you. And fortunately, also audience in San Francisco recognized that, and they told me, oh, this is the film which actually straight people should watch,
Yes.
Uh, and I agree with that, because, preaching to already converted is somehow, not necessary, of course. I hope that movie would be enjoyable for everyone, but all my crew and my authors team, we would really love to reach to the wider audience, not just LGBT community, of course, LGBT community, but for other people as well. Because I mean, and what I would also like to say is, uh, I'm really shocked how people are finding our sex scenes bold. I mean, they don't find sex scenes, heterosexual sex scenes that bold, which are, even more explicit than in our movie. So
Yeah.
that says also a lot, you know. And we even had experience, you know, that some, you know, people from our industry, film industry, who are having like a gay son, they were shocked, and we were like, you know, gosh, what do you think, you know, how your son lives, you know? It's so you realize how people are not used to watch such scenes. So it's
Yeah.
very important, you know, to normalize that. Seeing that is the only way to normalize that.
Absolutely. You know, there's such beauty in the way you capture these men, especially the four principal gay men, uh, the way underwater, you know, the way they relate to one another. And those actors were absolutely incredible, by the way.
Yes, I adore them. I became friends with all of them. We were like a family. We are texting each other even today, you know, after we finish the film. They're so proud and happy, you know, with this success in San Francisco. And they're incredible. We were lucky that we had that rehearsing process, that we get to know each other and we get to love each other. I was blessed with this cast and many members of my crew behind the camera as well. So amazing people who were standing with me against any obstacle that we were facing. So this movie, at the same time as it was hard to make, I was so lucky that I was making it with most amazing people in the world.
So, Ivona, tell me, where are you right now with distribution in terms of US distribution, especially?
Okay, we have a wonderful agent, Francesca, Italian sales agent, and she's right now approaching to the film festivals. Sometimes she has to really push our film because they find it too much, you know, like too bold for them. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate. I don't know. I think that whole world is somehow turning conservative.
Yeah.
Uh, Somehow, unfortunately. I mean, all around the world, right-wing parties are rising.
It's fear.
And yeah, it's a fear. Yeah, I agree with you. So, and she left us a open window for US to find sales and distribution in US, of course. Uh, um, uh, she signed a contract with us, and she will also gain from that. But now we are struggling since my previous film was bought by Netflix for worldwide, not just for my region. We are trying to approach to some huge VOD like Netflix, Apple, Hulu, Amazon, but unfortunately we don't have much connection. So we are here in LA talking with our uh, friends who are having connections, you know, people from industry who are awarded, who love this film, and they're trying to push our film into the world right now. That's why I'm in LA, so I'm having the meetings. Hopefully, that we will succeed. No, there is no guarantees, of course. Unfortunate, unfortunate thing is that I'm coming from small country and it's you know, exotic language for majority of the world. But at the same time, I think that VODs are having that opportunity, you know, to put uh, 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 on a world map, smaller countries, cultures, and because thanks to the Netflix, I watched films from countries that I wouldn't ever watch in my life.
Me
So
too. Yeah.
yeah, and but at the same time, because of this political climate, which is very dire at the moment, um, VODs are somehow turning to conservative as well, unfortunately. And that makes me very sad because I think it was very easy to be progressive in Obama and Biden era. In my opinion, now is the time to push back
Yes.
and to even more put such a content as our film present and to the audience. But unfortunately, it's happening uh, completely opposite thing. So it would be a huge struggle to reach some huge VOD what we would like, because small distribution would again be just for our community, just small community. So let's hope that we will make it. And if someone is watching this and listening to this and has some idea, please help us.
Yeah, I say just, watch the film. The film is so powerful. It is so, again, I think it is so relatable on so many levels. So I wish you all the best. It will get distribution.
Thank you so much. Because I also want to mention one very during the Oscar campaign, our friend made like a close screening for some rich people in Croatia. It was like raising money from them to help us since our country didn't. And majority of that audience were straight people, and they were crying after the film. They were approaching to my actors. I was in LA, Oscar campaign, but my actors were in Zagreb, and they were so touched about the film. They loved the film. So I think I'm saying this to just as an example how film doesn't have borders, to
Yeah,
whom it should speak. It should speak to everyone who's open heart, who's open mind, who's, willing to go with the flow of the film. Uh, and I think that's important just to mention as well.
absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much, not for the film, for what the film says, for the important part of history that the film deals with, and just honestly for your artistry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for recognizing that. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for being so supportive to this film. It means a lot to me. Uh, uh, Thank you.
My pleasure.